My name's Levi Tyrell Johnson. I'm 28 years old and I'm from Cardiff. This Choir of Man is my first ever show, so it's my professional debut as a West End performer, and it's been amazing. The show is incredible. I guess from first glance, the first premise, you just see nine guys in a pub. There's so much more. It's about the celebration of man, the community of men, and the importance of these spaces for men and all people, not just men.
Then what first attracted you to, I know the show's been around for a couple of years now, but what kind of attracted you to the show?
So I love the fact there's a jukebox musical, and the songs, I think the songs that never get boring, so that there's just a great choice of songs, with some of which have incredible meanings. Luckily, like You're the Voice, the song I sing, it's got a great message of solidarity, togetherness, and it was originally, the song was to protest gun violence. So it's nice to be able to say something meaningful and impactful. Other than that, it was just I knew it was a lovely space for me to grow. I knew from before joining that you'd be called by your own name. So to know that I was making my West End debut as Levi on stage was one of the most appealing things to me.
Yeah, and then, as you say, it's such like an audience, it's such an integral part of the show, more than probably other shows, because obviously people who don't know, you've kind of got the bar on stage before the show, and then you guys come out and mingle a bit before it starts. Kind of, how is that kind of for you?
It's great, yeah. I think the unknown aspect of the show really keeps it fresh. We never know who we're going to pull up or who we're going to meet out in the audience. So, yeah, well, every night we're well prepared to see. We always look forward to see how the audience react, and the audience are a huge part of the show, and they're a huge part of the success. I mean, our job is to make sure they enjoy it, but when they enjoy it, we all have an incredible time, and it's just very magic.
How then do you guys like keep on top of it? Because sometimes I imagine sometimes it can get a bit rowdy in there. How do you guys kind of keep on top of it?
It does get a bit rowdy sometimes. Luckily, we have some amazing front of house staff who can kind of quell some of the more rowdy people. But some people, we have some well placed heckles, which we completely allow because if it works, it works. So we get a lot of laughs like that. Otherwise, the poet who's played at the moment is by Dennis Grindle. He's really good at, because he's the one who speaks all the way throughout the show. So he's really good at like telling people to be quiet in a comedic yet polite way.
And as you touched on at the start, kind of on the surface, it's kind of a show about lads in a pub, but obviously deeper down, it's kind of more about conversations, mental health, and all that. Kind of, how's that kind of balancing it for you?
It's great, I think, because there's a whole, especially nowadays, there's a whole big stigma about, men not speaking their minds and not speaking their emotions. And I feel like this show is a great vehicle for us to express those, the difficulties of being a man to each other and to the audience. So it gives a lot of people insight into how men actually feel, and I feel like that's important because I feel like men could be misrepresented. I think that's a word.
Yeah, because even I was amazed. Like, I saw it in Coventry first last summer, and then obviously saw it in London. But it's amazing how kind of like saying the layers to it. There's so much more to it than just the music it's so good. So I fully recommend. But then obviously there's a lot of drink on stage. How do you guys kind of manage that, kind of maintain it? Because I imagine it's kind of, is it slippy on there? I don't know.
Oh, well, I got a story for you. Yeah, so we do have a bit of problems with spilling, especially in the first number. So we sing Welcome to the Jungle, which is high energy. We want to hit the audience in the face with an explosion of excitement. But this also means that we all get a bit loose with our spilling, which we keep like reel it in. We get a bit careful at one day, and then the next day there's beer all over the stage. So I have a story last Wednesday, not the Wednesday just gone, the one before. So I spit beer up into the sky.
Yeah.
And usually I've been fine, but so this one day I jump off the table, as I have done over 100 times now, but I landed right in a puddle of beer, so my legs slipped.
Yeah.
And then I hit the floor, ended up rolling off the stage onto the laps of the audience. was pretty glorious, spectacular, and also very embarrassing, but great story to tell in
Yeah.
times like these.
Yeah, I imagine there's a fair few moments kind of like that with the show, but it kind of is that show you can kind of get away with it, I suppose, in a way, which is nice.
Exactly, yeah. I got pulled back up on stage and just carry on singing. People said afterwards, they were like, "Oh, was that part of the show?" I
Yeah.
was like, "Nope, that wasn't." Luckily, nobody was harmed. So yeah, we got away with that. It was good.
Obviously, in the show, you kind of get to show all your prowess because you get to sing, act, dance, and play instruments. Kind of, I suppose there's not many shows out there that kind of offer that. So how's it kind of that for you?
Yeah, I love it. So yeah, I feel like if I was doing just a straight acting like play, that's
Yeah.
why I'm not just an actor, because if I'm just acting, I'll miss the singing and dancing. If I'm just singing, I'll miss the acting and dancing, and it just keeps going around. So yeah, it's nice to be in a show where it's all incorporated. So in the show, I play the Braham, which is an Irish drum. I usually play guitar, so I would have liked to be playing guitar on the West End, but yeah, it's just I love the fact that we're making, because I'm a musician. I come from a band. I left my band to start choir band,
Yeah.
and yeah, it's nice to feel like we're making music. You know, it's like I'm still in a band in a way.
Yeah. And do you have a favorite moment within the show?
Yes, I have a couple. I think my song is my favorite moment, because that, of course, that's my time to shine, and
Yeah.
and I feel like the song that I sing has a really great message. It's about community, togetherness, and like I said before, but also there's a section Chandelier. We sing 9-part harmonies a cappella, and that's like the first time we kind of show the power of the choir, and that moment is always, like, without fail, always the most special for me.
Yes. I would also throw in the parting glass is just top tier.
Yeah, so
Incredible.
same feeling. So yeah, it's lovely to top the show with that.
Then the obvious big question: how easy was it to learn the glassography for some nights?
Ooh, the cupography. It wasn't too bad. Because as a musician, you
Yeah.
know, it's all just beats, and as a dancer, it's just I've learned harder routines. I mean, it took a while to get it up to speed because we learned it all slowly, and then we had to keep picking the speed up. But luckily enough, in the audition for the show, we had to do the main cup where we,
Yeah.
do that routine. So I'd already known the basis of it from the audition. But yeah, it doesn't get any easier. It's just so high energy. It's really hard work. We love it. I love a bit of hard work.
Then I ask everyone this who I interview this question simply: what does theatre and performing mean to you?
Yeah, it means everything. It means everything to me. It's some from for as long as I remember. That's all I've wanted to do. I initially wanted to be an actor. I wanted to be in movies because, of course, growing up you watch movies, and well, I think growing up I wanted to be everything. I wanted to be a fireman, police officer, astronaut. You know, as most kids do. And
Yeah.
I think growing up you realize if you want to be all those things, you become an actor. Because then you get the opportunity to be all those. And then I started dancing, I started singing, and that was just where I felt most myself, and that's where I felt like I could express myself and be celebrated. And I've always loved attention, so it felt like the right fit.
Yeah. And my final question then for you today is simply: why should anyone out there who hasn't yet seen the show come and see Choir of Men?
I think everybody needs to see Quiet Man. The people who don't know about it won't have a reason to. They just see 9 guys in a pub, but it's so much more than that. And I feel like it can really connect, really resonate with anybody who watches it. It's got it's got such a broad message, and I think it may just change some people's lives, which we've been told it has for some, which is incredible to feel. And I think, like I've said before, because it's not a fantastical land of make believe and wizards. It's 9 real men in a real pub. Actually serves beer, so you can get a beer. And a lot of people love the fact that you can step on the West End stage, and you can say that forever. If you've had dreams of being on a West End stage, or even if you haven't, you can always say you've had a beer on a West End stage.
Very, very true. Well, Levi, thank you for your time. The Choir of Mind continues at the Arts Theatre in the West End.